There's also some PCO trainings coming up that I'm excited about. So Saturday, February 4th, from 1 to 4 at the Richmond Beach Library, asking folks to bring a laptop and cell phone so you can train a boat builder. Wednesday, February 8th at 5, before the 32nd DEMS meeting, there will be a training. And then Sunday, February 12th, from 1 to 4 at the Shoreline Library, there will be an additional training. This nice lady in red has got more info. If you have questions, please see her. Okay, so this evening's credentials report is going to be a tad different. I'm going to ask you to indulge me for just a minute here, and after we announce the credentials number, we will allow discussion on it. There are 54 PCOs signed in and eligible to vote. And as you may be aware, some of you are, some of you aren't, a PCO from this district organization has requested a medical accommodation in order to participate with you here tonight. I was sent an email last week by a member of your executive board notifying me of the situation. The request was very simple and straightforward. A PCO, due to medical circumstances, is unable to be here tonight, but wanted to conference in via Skype or FaceTime. This would allow the PCO to see and hear everything happening during the reorganization and would allow them to vote. The majority of your executive board responded to the email and asked that we find a way to accommodate the PCO. One member of your executive board disagreed and said that rules wouldn't be followed and asked for a ruling from the chair, which was a tough decision for me. I did significant amounts of research before making this decision, and here's what I found and why I came to the conclusion that I came to. The bylaws of the 46th District Democrats state that the organization shall function under the rules of the state party, the King County Party, and applicable state law. I want to reiterate that, applicable state law. Now I would like to reference RCW 496010, which is the revised Code of Washington, which reads, "The legislature hereby finds and declares that practices of discrimination against any of its inhabitants because of race, creed, color, national origin, families with children, sex, marital status, sexual orientation, age, veteran or military status, or the presence of any sensory, mental, or physical disability, or the use of a trained dog guide by a person with a disability are a matter of state concern. That such discrimination threatens not only the rights and proper privileges of its inhabitants, but menaces the institutions and foundations of a free democratic state." Which further goes on to read in the next section of that same RCW, under Freedom of Discrimination, Declaration of Civil Rights 1B, says, in reference to one of the rights protected, the right of full enjoyment of any of the accommodations, advantages, facilities, or privileges of any place of public resort, accommodation, assemblage, or amusement. I noticed that the bylaws of our organizations talk a lot about inclusion, promoting civic involvement, educating residents, and empowering them to learn about the principles of the Democratic Party. Your bylaws prohibit proxy voting. However, I can see the PCO in question, and I can see that PCO voting. Therefore, I am not considering it a proxy. In conclusion, your bylaws require us to follow state law, and state law prohibits discrimination against disabled individuals at places of assemblage. The chair considers this meeting and this location a place of assemblage. Further, the chair recognizes through your own bylaws your deep desire to increase participation in civic involvement and empower residents to support campaigns. Therefore, I have credentialed and seated this PCO and will grant the PCO full participation during my portion of the meeting. The chair highly suggests that a member of this body, during the appropriate time, move to amend the rules to be clear on this issue and ensure the PCO that I have credentialed will be able to vote for the remainder of the meeting after my time has expired. During such a rules debate, it would be debatable by this body and you all would have a vote in it. Thank you for indulging me as I make this critical ruling that is sure to continue to have impact in other legislative districts as well as our state party as we figure out how to deal with something that, in my opinion, we are much far too behind the times in. Thank you.
Point of inquiry. How does the chair propose to address those portions of the election process that require elections to be done by signed paper ballot?
In your district, it is not signed ballot, it is just by written ballot. This participant will be writing down on the ballot their selection, and as you see, we have video conferencing abilities here, and we will record those votes. Any other questions on the credentials report? And the number was what?
State charter requires paper ballots, no, not signed.
Correct, paper.
So
They will be on paper, and the chair will be happy to swing by this person's residence this evening and collect them. What was the total count? 58?
For the
54.
preliminary.
54 is the preliminary credential count. Javier?
Mr. Chair, it's my understanding that there's one other PCO who made the same request to the current chair of the 46th district.
Correct. We have two PCOs who have made medical accommodation requests this evening, and I have agreed to allow both of them to participate fully in our organization. All right, seeing no other discussion on the credentials report, the credentials report is accepted. At this point in time, it would be appropriate for the chair to entertain motions to adopt the agenda as presented. There's a motion on the floor and a second to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on the agenda?
Point of information.
Yes, ma'am.
Under, I believe it's Rule 9 of the proposed rules, the order in which the offices are elected is actually different than our bylaws. We elect chair, excuse me, our bylaws have the order as chair, vice chair, the PCDCC people, the PCDCC alternates, and then the state.
Yes, ma'am.
That's just
So, point of clarification for the body before you take this vote. Your agenda will be slightly modified, only to be in compliance with your bylaws. Your bylaws require that King County Democrat male and female representatives and alternates are elected before state committee. So to be in compliance with your, yes.
Do the bylaws actually say the elections have to be, or the bylaws in order?
Places it in order. So, again, your King County elections will be before state committee. Both are required by a PCO vote regardless, so it would continue through the process. So at this point, there's a motion and second on the floor. Is there any other discussion on the agenda? Seeing no discussion, I will call for the question. PCOs are credentialed, right? You have credential?
Yes.
All right, perfect. This is a PCO vote. All PCOs in favor, please signify by raising your credential. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The agenda is adopted. All right. What we are going to do is a very quick, like 3-minute top reading of the rules. So, I'm going to go through these very quickly. At the end, if you have questions, please feel free to ask, and then we will address them and entertain motions to get these things passed. Proposed rules for the Legislative District Reorganization meeting. Number 1, the meeting shall be called to order by a temporary meeting chair, who shall either be the King County Democrat chair or his or her designee. Temporary meeting chair shall have appointed a credentials committee to administer sign-ins for the district credential precinct committee officers, PCOs. Shall also appoint for the meeting a secretary, parliamentarian, sergeant at arms, and tally committee, and shall preside until a district chair has been elected. After adoption of the agenda, the meeting rules, the body shall adopt bylaws for the district organization. Bylaws adoption may be postponed either to a later in the meeting or to a subsequent meeting. However, until such time as district bylaw organizations are adopted for the 17-18 biennium, its pre-existing bylaws are acknowledged as remaining in effect. Regardless of whether bylaws adoption is postponed, the body may adopt standing rules for the district organization. Only district resident PCOs elected at the August 2nd, 2016 primary, including those elected by virtue of being the only candidate to file in the precinct, shall be eligible to vote on the adoption of bylaws or in the elections of chair, vice chair, state committee man, state committee woman, King County Democrats male, female, and alternates, representatives of other central committees, county central committees, and representatives of congressional district committees as applicable. Officer elections shall proceed in the sequence specified by district rules as defined in Rule 9, which in turn defaults to the order of the offices are first listed in the district organization bylaws, so long as A, the district chair is elected first, and B, if the district rules fail to provide for election of one or more of the officers listed in Rule 3 as required by the state party or county committee bylaws, those missing elections shall be held in the order specified by Rule 3 immediately after the election of the last required office provided for. 5, if there exist officer positions or subsequent business on which non-PCO members of the district organization may vote, and such voting members exist, even if only potentially via renewal of membership with immediate voting rights pursuant to district rules, A district credentials committee to process membership renewals and issue credentials to non-eligible PCL members present shall be formed as per district rules, or if district rules do not address such matter, shall be appointed by the district chair upon his or her election. And B, upon completion of the last officer election, prior to those officer elections and subsequent business that non-PCL members may vote on, the meeting shall, if necessary, recess to allow completion of membership renewals and credentialing for all non-PCL members present at that time, following which the district credentials committee shall report on the non-PCL members, which shall include the total number of such members credentialed. Provided, however, that credentials issued to non-PCO members must be visually distinct from those issued to PCOs, and any ballots issued to non-PCO members must be visually distinct from those used for elections where only PCOs are allowed to vote. 6, the process for nominating and electing all positions shall include the following: A, a call for nominations; B, closing of nominations; C, 1-minute nomination speech for each candidate, in which the order of speeches is determined by the order of nomination. D, 1-minute seconding speech for each candidate. E, speakers for all races may be PCOs, candidates, or other residents of the legislative district willing to publicly declare themselves as Democrats. We have yet to have a Republican show up and want to speak yet. Number 7, uncontested candidates may be elected by acclamation. For contested elections, a written ballot is required. When PCOs vote for organizational officers such as chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, state committee, they do not have to vote by signed ballot, provided that there is a mechanism to ensure the eligibility of those who cast ballots, such as a checkoff list, sign-in sheet, ballot receipts. If district rules do not specify whether signed ballots are required in this case, this decision shall be made by the body prior to the election of the district chair. Persons approved by the body to be appointed to fill a PCO vacancy do not actually become PCOs until appointment by the county chair, and no such appointment shall be effective prior to adjournment of the reorganization meeting. This does not preclude such persons as being treated as members of the district organization immediately upon approval if district rules allow so. 9, certainly not least, last but not least, district rules. The district organization bylaws, special rules of order, standing rules, and designated parliamentary authority, or lacking such, the latest edition of Robert's Rules of Order newly revised shall govern all other aspects of the meeting. All right, other questions? Yes, sir.
So, the 1-minute nominating speeches and seconding speeches, I don't see provision here for the candidate themselves to speak.
That is correct. The nominating speech and seconding speech can cede their time to the candidate, which would give the candidate 2 minutes total.
So 2 minutes with the nominator, the seconder, and the candidate all together?
Negatives. Correct, altogether.
All together.
So it's 1 minute for a nominating speech, 1 minute for a seconding speech, and if those two people so choose to cede that time to their candidate, they may. Or maybe the candidate's a horrible public speaker and you'd rather talk for him. Your call. Other questions? Last call for alcohol. All right, so at this point in time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the rules. Sir.
Motion to remove section 3 from the proposed rules to allow all 46 legislative district Democrats to have a say in the direction of their party moving forward, not just the elected PCOs as of August 2nd, 2016. These individuals have given their time and their interest in the party moving forward, and I feel they should have a voice.
And that motion is out of order because county bylaws require PCOs to vote on the office of chair, vice chair, state committee man, state committee woman, King County Democrats. But I appreciate the sentiment.
And state law, I think.
Is there a motion to approve the rules? There's a motion to approve the rules. Is there a second? Is there discussion on the rules? Seeing no discussion, I will call for the question. All those in favor of approving the rules signify by raising your credential. All those opposed? The rules are passed. All right. So we're going to need one more credentials report. There are 59 PCOs signed in and eligible to vote. Now is the fun part of the meeting. Woo! All right, so time for the election of a district chair. Having been the chair of the 47th and now chair of the King County Democrats, I would just, bylaws. See, next week we postpone it, so, okay, good. Well, I get to spend more time with you guys, it's exciting. Okay, adoption of the district organization bylaws. Is there any motions? I'm sorry, I did not hear whoever made that motion. Okay, there you are.
I'd like to move that we approve the bylaws as presented.
Is there a second? Perfect. There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the bylaws as presented. Is there any discussion?
So does that, does that include the changes that we saw in the morning?
No, it does not. In consultation with other parliamentarians, we did not finish the proposed changes, which are not many, but one of them includes adding an inclusion paragraph of our bylaws in enough time to meet our notice requirement. So the bylaws we'd be approving are the ones that we've had in place for the last 2 years, and then at one of the next couple of meetings, we'll propose the changes. When we have that time to notice it, everybody can make the meeting.
Just a piece of information. For the body, you could postpone the adoption of your bylaws, which would continue to operate under the bylaws you've been operating under, and then you could adopt new ones at a later meeting. But of course, that's up to you. You're making the motions. I'm just here for the party.
Mr. Chair, if we were to postpone adoption, would it still be a simple majority vote that would take to make changes to the bylaws for the next meeting, as opposed to adopting them now and then having to do it?
My secretary whispers in my ear, yes. But being that my rules expert and legal counsel asked the question, now I'm kind of wondering.
There's a difference between postponing, and I would move that we postpone adoption of the bylaws next month so that amendments can be done by a simple majority. And we're nevertheless going to operate under the old ones as opposed to adopting the old ones without change and making it more difficult.
So hold that thought for half a second. There's a motion on the floor. Yeah.
Point of personal privilege?
State your point of personal privilege.
I think I'm not the only person here who has a hearing disability, so when people speak from the floor, could you please let us know what we
Yes,
said?
ma'am. And I'll talk closer to the mic, even though it scares myself. There's a motion on the floor to approve the bylaws as presented, which would retain your bylaws that you've previously been operating under. The discussion that happened after that, it appears that the board will be presenting the membership with some potential bylaw changes in the future, at which point the chair should not have opened his mouth, but did, and said that, just reminded the body you could postpone the adoption of your bylaws. Mr. McDonald has made a motion to delay the adoption of bylaws to a subsequent meeting. However, there is a motion on the floor.
Over here, she moved.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, hi.
You are confusing me.
I know,
Okay,
sorry.
so there's a motion on the floor, but I see maybe a plan of something.
Actually making a privilege motion, I move the table the motion on.
Okay.
Which would be the same thing as what David asked for.
Okay. So there is a motion to table. It is a privilege motion. Ma'am.
I just would like to withdraw my motion.
I love you. You're my peeps. All right, so the motion has been withdrawn. Is there a motion to do anything with the bylaws? Mr. McDonald?
I move to take the bylaws and
There's a motion on the floor and a second to postpone the adoption of your bylaws till your next meeting. Sir.
Are there any changes to the bylaws that we need to make to ensure that our video conferencing is not trouble?
That would have been a rules change, not a bylaws change, and no member rose to that occasion during the adoption of the rules.
You can adopt standing rules.
You can adopt standing rules after we deal with bylaws. Okay. There is a motion on the floor and a second to postpone the adoption of your bylaws until your next meeting. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your credential. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Your bylaws will be taken up at your next meeting. Are there any motions from the body on standing rules for the body? Oh, hi, Chad.
We didn't prepare this ahead of time, which is a mistake. So I don't have language for this, but given your ruling, really need to do anything? I'm not clear on what language we need to change in the standing law.
So I am a temporary chair, and I have credentialed as PCO. It is feasible that a new chair, as much as I doubt it, would not credential said PCO. So if the body would like to adopt standing rules to ensure that this PCO, or PCOs with an S and N, are eligible to participate, they may make that motion.
Thank you. Standing rule proposed for this meeting that video conferencing for disabled PCOs is allowed for the entire meeting.
There is a motion and a second on the floor. Is there discussion?
Yes. That rule would not accommodate one of the two people in the room.
Oh, there's one on the phone without video capability.
Okay.
May I suggest we adopt the standing rule?
Point of clarification?
There is, I'm sorry, I have a member that can't hear, so give me half a second. There was a motion made to adopt a standing rule allowing video conferencing for ADA accessibility. There's a second. The discussion is one of the members did not have video capability and is literally on speaker.
But we're all live streaming.
We are live streaming,
So that
they can
individual
see,
could see us.
So that's the discussion where we're at.
She's on, like, in bed on her back. I don't think she could get a computer and screen in a way.
So I need a suggestion on a word other than video conferencing.
What if you used technology?
Technology.
The maker of the motion has amended his motion to say that he moves to allow the use of technology to make ADA accessibility for this meeting. There is still a second, Bill? Is there a second? Okay, now discussion. Sir.
Excuse me, point of clarification. I think we want to limit, technology is a broad word. I would heavily suggest that we limit it to communication technology and not voting technology or some other technology.
Okay.
Right?
I'm sorry, I'm going to refer to my legal expert who has his hand up.
No, I'm not acting as a legal expert, I just have a question.
Darn.
Other than the two people that we know about who are using technology that we already have in place, are there any other people that might take advantage of this tonight, which is the only time that the rule would have any effect because it's a standing rule for this meeting? In other words, can we kick the more complicated questions to when we adopt the bylaws?
The answer to that question, so the question that was asked, are there any other candidates, are there any other people attempting to participate through the use of technology this evening? And the answer is none that the chair is aware of. Both of these members contacted the chair in advance of this meeting, hence why we were able to make the accommodation. If you were going to complicate it, no.
Well, the point of the standing rules phase is standing rules for the organization. This will be for future meetings until you adopt bylaws.
All right.
So that's
I'm going to let you and David fight that out in the parking lot. Sir.
I move to close debate.
Thank you. There's a motion.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. I love you too. All right, so there's a motion on the floor to allow the use of technology for ADA accessibility this evening. There's a second. We've had debate. We've closed debate. All those in favor of allowing this, please signify by raising your credential. All those opposed? The ayes clearly have it. Thank you. And thank you all. All right. Any other standing rule suggestions while we're here? Pizza at every meeting? No? Okay. So, now we've moved to the point of the election of a district chair. And I will just say, as the King County chair and the former chair of the 47th, God bless whoever gets nominated tonight. You're going to need an endless amount of strength and endurance. So at this point in time, the chair will open nominations for the position of district chair. Don't all jump sorry, what? Any? Are there nominations for the office of district chair? Oh, this is fun. This is great.
Yep.
Sir,
Do I need that, or?
we're just nominating right now, and then speeches.
I nominate Haley Watkins.
Haley Watkins has been nominated. Is there a second? There's a second from Philip up there. That almost got scary. Any other nominations for chair? Any other nominations for chair? Any other nominations for chair? Nominations are closed.
See my time.
All right. Philip, would you like your time or would you like to cede your time? All right, Ms. Watkins, we'll have 2 minutes. Jessica, can you time this? Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Haley Watkins. I'm currently on the executive board and currently the elections chair for us here in the 46th. And I'm so honored tonight to be the sole nominee for chair. I'm really excited about where we can go as a district and as a party. And specifically on tonight, the eve of the inauguration, I feel really hopeful that as a community and as a party, we can come together to create progressive change. I decided to step up to run for chair because I think that we really need to do a couple of things better as Democrats. The first is making sure that we are the big umbrella that we claim to be, that we want to be, that we strive to be. So being as inclusive as possible, being as welcoming as possible, and doing proactive outreach to non-traditional communities to bring them into our organization, to help folks feel welcome, and to get folks involved in the process, whether that's coming to a meeting, whether it's as simple as voting, whether it's showing up even to another organization. It doesn't matter as long as folks are involved in their communities. The second thing that I want us to do is make sure that we get out of our Seattle bubble a little bit. There are going to be some big special elections happening this year in East King County and South King County. Those are our swing districts that we have to fight for, and that means that we have to leave the city sometimes and go down to Federal Way, or over to Kirkland, or out to Woodinville, or over to Algona and Pacific and Kent and Covington and Auburn, and knock on doors and make those phone calls and give money and support those candidates who are running in really tough communities, because that's what makes the majorities that we need to make our platform and our vision and our values happen. So those are just a couple of things that I want to do. I hope that more folks will get involved. This is an incredible turnout tonight. Thank you for joining us. Because we can't do this work without you. We are an all-volunteer organization. So if you want to get involved, come talk to me. Come talk to anybody who will be joining the executive board tonight. Run yourself. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hold that thought for half a second? And I'm going to ask you to indulge me for one last thing. I would like to take just a quick moment of opportunity to recognize your outgoing chair and executive board. And also to say that I just realized why I will love the 46th forever. In addition to your awesomeness, this is our last reorg meeting, 17 done. So thank you all. All right, so I heard a motion to vote by acclamation. There's a second. And one other housekeeping item as we call for this vote. All officers that are elected tonight, please see Roger Cruz. You can fill out a proper election form so we know who you are. There's a motion to vote by acclamation and a second. All those in favor of voting by acclamation, please signify by raising your credential. All those opposed? The ayes have it. With that being said, we're going to move to a vote by acclamation for Haley Watkins to be the next chair of the Fighting 46th. All those in favor of Haley, please signify by raising your credential. All those opposed? Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Thank you, everybody. So typically at this portion of the meeting, I would take over to run it, but I'm actually going to invite David McDonald to the front of the room, and he is going to run the next couple of elections, district chairs, the King County staff, state committee woman, and then I will take back over for state committee man and the rest of the meeting, so I can fill out my paperwork and say thank you and and everything. So I'll see you in a little bit, and for now, here's David.
Okay. Boy, I've never had to be on camera much, but I'm not allowed to. I'm gonna stand up here because I can see you better. And let me just ask for a second, how many people is this your first reorganization meeting? Wow, okay. That's like 2 of my life's ambitions. One of them was to come to a 46th district meeting at which there was no parking because everybody was here. And second was to see that many new faces. Let me, just for a second, indicate for those of you that are new, I'm a former district chair here in the district. I spent 4 years as 46th district chair and 8 years as King County chair. I now represent you at the Democratic National Committee. And I have been the parliamentarian for the state party since 1981. That's partially why Haley asked me to do this, so that she could spend some time meeting you before she had to get into worrying about what you were going to say. If you do not understand anything I do, you probably won't be alone, but please ask me and I'll explain it. Okay, with that, no more stalling around. We'll move to the office of Vice Chair, which must be a female. Must be a male, given the, see, I already made one mistake. Must be a male, given the election that just took place. Are there nominations for the position of District Vice Chair? Oh. Sorry, could you repeat that louder? Jesse Piefer?
Second.
Yes, Mr. Weber.
I don't think we have a requirement in the district bylaws for an opposite gender between the chair and vice chair. District bylaws.
I did not understand the question. Can you say that one more time?
I think you called for only male nominees for vice chair.
Yes. I believe. Are you telling me that your district bylaws say that that does not have to be the case?
I'm saying that, but somebody ought to read it. I remember it, you know what I mean? Okay.
It's tradition.
I have not looked at your bylaws for that point.
Well, I checked it this year. Betsy was going to run with Haley, and we researched the matter and found it was okay. So I'm pretty sure that.
All right. So let me go at this a different way. Is there a female who wishes to run for vice chair? Is there a female who wishes to run for vice chair? Seeing none, I'm going to treat the point as moot and move on with the election. So, are there further nominations for the position of vice chair? Are there further nominations for the position of vice chair? Further nominations for the position of vice chair? Then I'll entertain a motion that nominations be closed. All those in favor of closing nominations, please raise their credential. All those opposed? Nominations are closed. I will entertain a motion to elect the vice chair by acclamation. All those in favor of electing by acclamation, please raise your hand.
Mr. Chair.
All those opposed? All right, you have been elected by acclamation, but was there a question that someone was trying to ask during the voting? Yeah, John?
We haven't seen him. I don't know who he is.
Well, I understand that, but after many years' experience, I've learned that it's possible to blow an election that you're about to win if you say something at the wrong time. So I thought I would let him speak after he was elected rather than before, without taking a chance. Would you like to?
Hi everyone, it's me. I checked you in probably if you're a PCO. My name is Jesse Piefer. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself really briefly. Let's see, my day job is a grant and budgets manager at the University of Washington. I'm also the volunteer chair of the Seattle Sierra Club, so you might know me that way. And I've been a Democrat my whole life. I worked for the Montana Democratic Party in college. My dad was the president of his union local, and so pretty much my first political consciousness was being a Democrat and standing up for working people and human dignity. So I'm really honored to have your vote tonight, even though you didn't really have much of a choice. I'm really excited to work with Haley this year. She's going to be an awesome chair, and I can't wait to see the kind of board we put together tonight and the kind of organization we can build over the next year. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, let's move to the King County Democratic female delegate. Is there a nomination?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Mr. Humphries.
I wish to put into nomination the name Jean Thomas.
Jean Thomas's name has been placed in nomination. Ms. Miller?
I'd like to nominate Katie Ozok.
Katie Ozok?
Katie Ozok. Second.
All right. I don't think actually the second is, well, all right, we'll take it. I'm not going to give it to you. Are there further nominations for the position of King County female delegate? Further?
I'd like to second Jean Thomas.
All right. Further nominations besides Jean and Katie for this position? Further nominations? Further nominations? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for nominations to be closed. All those in favor of closing nominations, please. All those opposed? Nominations are closed. All right, I'm going to take the speeches in the order that people appeared. Is there a timekeeper?
I have been, but I don't have the big screen. It'd be better if someone else.
All right, so two things. If the candidates had preferred speakers for these positions, if you let me know, I'll defer to whoever you want me to recognize for your nomination second speech. Second, remember that there's 2 minutes total. So nominators and seconders, if your candidate wants to speak, then remember the 2 minutes total, let them have it, let them yield to them, sorry.
Mr. Chair,
John?
what office are we running?
This is for the position of female representative to the King County Democratic Central Committee. You are nominated, Jean Thomas. Yes.
My name is Chad Lupkes. I'm the King County State Committee man. I was the chair in this district when we redistricted and brought Lake Forest Park in. And I can tell you that there is no person in Lake Forest Park that I knew at the time that I wanted on this board and involved in King County more than Jean Thomas. I've known her for years. I'd like to see the rest of my time to her. Or John, if he's here.
Hi everybody, I'm John Fulger, I'm your PCO coordinator. I love Jean Thomas. She is so passionate, she is so hardworking, she is so committed to the issues, doing right by things like communication, really putting in that work. She's been doing it for a very long time and she's very good at it. I support her very much. Thank you. I see my time to Jean Thomas.
Thank you, guys. Okay, right here?
Look at the ground behind you.
No, behind the blue line.
Behind the other blue line.
Look.
The other blue line.
There you go.
Okay. I do take direction. With a hearing disability, sometimes it's difficult for me to know what you're asking me to do. Many of you know me either from the 46 or from the years that I served on the KCDCC or my activism on behalf of the state Progressive Caucus. One of the things in this past terrible election cycle, the one thing that gave me hope was the number of millennials and other newcomers to the political process. I was blown away, not, and I'm going to show my age here, not since the 60s, if I felt so hopeful. I want to use my background as a communication specialist and my experience as a workshop facilitator to help people learn how to be more effective in communicating. Basic listening skills, basic framing skills, so that we can come together to form an effective coalition to support the common good. I ask for your vote, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you. Woo!
Can you announce about that?
Yeah. Nominators and seconders for Katie Ozaki.
Yes,
And a reminder that this thin blue line here is where we're holding it.
It's like smile for the camera.
That's our firewall right there. Do not reach. Okay.
This isn't for my driver's license.
Okay, you can start the clock. Quit wasting your time.
So I am very happy to stand and put before you the name of Katie Ozog for King County, I was going to say state, but King County Committee Woman. Most of you know Katie as having been our campaign organizer for the whole district during this last campaign season, especially through the caucuses. She's got a barrel of energy. She's a very good organizer. She's somebody who can work with anyone across all differences. And I'm very excited to have her on the board and represent us in King County. So I ask for your support.
You know, there's not a lot of things that, or there's a lot of things that you can say about Katie that's just all of her amazing qualities, but I think the best thing is that she's a mover and a shaker. And she gets the job done. And if you want somebody who'll get the job done on the KCDCC, you'll vote for Katie.
Thank you, guys. I just wanted to say, Jean, thank you so much for all your work for all the years. When I came to the 46, one of the first things I heard was about the active members and the long history we have of being important in King County and across the state, and I know you're a big part of that. I also want to thank you for your support of millennials. I am a millennial. But I'm also an organizer and most recently ran Lisa Wellman's campaign in the 41st. Thank you for all your help and all your support in the 46th. And I would like to support Haley and work with King County to get out of the 46, do our job here, but get out in South and East King County and register voters and turn out voters and win at the state level, because I want Washington to lead the resistance. So thank you.
So before we proceed to a vote, let me double check a couple of things. Who's the head of the tally committee? Julie? All right, now, I'm easily confused. I have a ballot package here that says keep the top sheet, but it goes up in ascending order from the back. Are we using the ballot N on the back, or are we using S at the top?
Thank you for asking that, Mr. Chair. Ballot N at the back, the easiest one to pull off the staple. Ballot N.
All right. So that's ballot N as in no way Trump should be president.
Yeah.
Write down the name of the candidate and we will hand it in. You do not need to sign the ballot.
David, some of us did not get a full ballot. Some of us did not get a full ballot.
Sorry, hold on. Just one at a time. Who did not get a, you did not get a full ballot?
No, I just have this.
All right. You're a PCO, Jean?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Was a ballot pack issued to Jean Thomas?
No.
All right. Would the tally committee check whether she has her ballots, and I'll take up the other question. Go ahead.
Could you make the font bigger on the names of the candidates?
Are you controlling the screen or someone else?
I can't hear you.
Can you make the font bigger, Andrew?
I can work on it.
He's trying to make the font bigger. So if you need to, just use, well, anything that distinguishes the two, the tally committee will be able to tell how you vote. But is there any? Yes. Jean Thomas. Right, Jean, would you put your hand up? And Kate Ozog, would you put your hand up in the back? Is there anybody else who did not get a ballot? All right. In that case, as soon as the ballots are collected, we'll tell jokes or something. I have one up here.
Jen, if you would transmit your
Yes.
vote this time.
This might be a good time to review which officers, those who are not.
No, the tally committee has a direct line.
Right, so the PCO only offices are the representatives to the county
Central Committee and the representatives to the State Committee. Once we are done with the State Committee elections, the rest of the offices can be voted on by all members, and we will in fact take a recess after the State Committee elections in order to make sure that everybody is credentialed and reorganized for the expanded voting pool. I realize to some that those of you who are not PCOs may wonder why some of these procedures exist. The real narrow reason is that the state constitution provides for the replacement of legislators when a vacancy occurs. The replacement has to be done by the County Central Committee, and the County Central Committee is defined by the state statute to be the elected PCOs. So we comply with certain statutes that require those elected PCOs to elect the chair of the county, so on and so forth, in order to preserve our right to replace legislators if a vacancy occurs. After that, we kind of move on and open up the ranks as much as possible. Yes? All right, we now have 60 PCOs. I will also take brief good of the order type announcements while we're waiting for this count. I can't move to the next. I take that back, sorry. We can start the mayoral election because nobody who is in the current race would be eligible to run for the position of King County male representative. So I will open nominations for the position of male representative to the King County Democrats. Yes? Over to
Larry Smith.
Larry Smith's name has been put in nomination for male representative.
Second nomination to Larry Smith.
Are there further nominations? Andrew Everett? Andrew Everett's name has been put in nomination. I just assume that I seconded them unless you really want to yell out. All right. Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that nominations be closed. All those in favor, please raise your. All those opposed? Motion carries. Nominations are closed. The candidates, their nominators and seconders have 2 minutes each. Or sorry, 2 minutes total. And I would assume that you have coordinated this for the moment. So if not, yield your time to the candidate as necessary. Going in the order of nomination.
Thank you. Again, my name is Chad Lupkes. Larry Smith has been a rock in this district for a very long time. He's been a rock at the King County Central Committee for a very long time. There is nobody that I know who has been in more endorsement meetings than Larry Smith. I strongly support him for a re-election.
Larry's also a Teamster, so he's a committed union person. I've served also with him on the e-board, and he is a worker. Cede my time.
Thank you. This long history that my two friends have pointed out only goes back to 2009 on your e-board, when I was elected to fill an at-large seat of a person who had left the e-board, and then a couple years later I was asked to run for the King County male delegate, and I did so. For the last 3 years, I've been your King County male delegate, and I've also been your person on the endorsement committee. And all I can tell you about that is that the people on the endorsement committee and the previous chair thought it up with me to ask me to be the vice chair of that committee. I have been an officer in 3 different union locals. I am once again now back into the bosom of my earlier union, the Teamsters, and I have been working on somebody's campaign every 2 years since high school. And I just want to say that when I came to this district in 2002, I was this radical WTO protester union guy, and everybody thought I was half crazy because I was way out there for all the Clinton people. And then suddenly the whole district moved in my direction by the time we got to 2010. So I am hoping that I am still very representative. I'd also like to say on behalf of my opponent, Andrew will make an excellent addition both to the e-board and to the King County Committee. And I've already told him that whoever loses this race should run for alternate or for at-large. Thank you.
Andrew Everett, nominated secretaries in Kennedy.
Yeah, we got.
Good evening. My name is Javier. Good evening. My name is Javier Valdez, and Andrew asked me to nominate him, which I was happy to do. So I met Andrew actually last year when I was leading your caucus, all your sites and all your activities for this district last year. But that's where I met Andrew. Did a hell of a job working and volunteering for all our caucus sites. He stepped up and became secretary of our organization, and also taken over the Demogram. And speaking for myself, who just finished this last December, wrapping up 23 years on the King County Democrats Executive Board. Actually, this is one where I actually have more years than David on. I think Andrew would be a great addition, and Andrew should vote for him.
Hey guys. Andrew is a very thoughtful, and attentive, and passionate person. He's done a fantastic job. He runs meetings. He's a very sharp communicator. I think he will do a great job on King County.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Everett. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a third-year student at Seattle University. I am 20 years old, but I don't think that my age should be a determination in the race. I can tell you about my experience in activism going back to high school when I organized 5K races for extracurricular activities for other high schools in other districts, and they were our competitors too, just to tell you. I'd like to implement three different things, three different visions to the King County Democrats. The first is add more diversity with different perspectives. I think that we can add as much the more diversity that we can include in the King County Central Committee, the better. Diversity will lead us to be the inclusive organization we always preach about. Second of all, being more inclusive, making accommodations for people who have disabilities with their needs, and also including youth, which we're so inspired with this last movement. And the last is to create dynamic partnerships with local businesses, churches, and unions to create a stronger Democratic Party here in the 46th and throughout King County. Thank you, and I hope you support it.
Before I take the vote on this, is there a result in the previous races? All right. Katie Ozog received 42 votes. Gene Thomas 18. Katie, congratulations. As soon as I've taken the ballot, we'll take any comments related to that. All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the ballot this time is O for oh my God, Trump's going to be president tomorrow? Okay, all right, so, and see, there is no O. It's like, boy, you're really making it hard. It is P or PU, Trump is going to be president. All right. One vote for one male, either Barry Smith or Andrew Everett. Katie? Katie? Job's not over till the paperwork's done. I'll be right there. They'll get them on.
Chair, please transmit your choice.
No, thank you, I already did.
I
Have all the ballots been collected? All right. Is everybody's ballot in? Okay, yes. All right, there are now 61 PCOs signed in and eligible to vote. All right, the next election is for the position of alternate female representative to the King County Democrats. Sorry, nominations are now open. Was there a nomination then?
But we nominate Jean Thomas.
The name of Jean Thomas has been placed in nomination for this position. Are there further nominations?
I would like to withdraw my name.
Jean Thomas has withdrawn her name from this contest. Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations? Without objection, I'm going to defer this election until the end of the PCO only section in case someone decides that they want to run. We could revisit. Yes? No, it's not too late. I haven't closed nominations yet. So are there nominations? I got the Saunders. I didn't get the first name. Chelsea Saunders' name has been placed in nomination. Are there further nominations? Further nominations? Further nominations? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close nominations. All those in favor, please raise your credentials. All those opposed, please raise your credentials. Motion carries. Nominations are closed. Entertain a motion to elect Chelsea Saunders by acclamation. Second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries, or election carries. Chelsea, you have been elected. Would you like to say a few words for the audience at home on stream?
Quick to get the evening rolling, but thank you all so much for your support for the unexpected but very welcome office. And yes, I was a Bernie delegate, and I am very excited about the growing progressive movement, and I'm very excited to expand, as others have said, and reach out to other areas. And yeah, I'm excited to be a great new voice when the opportunity arises. Thank you.
While we are waiting for the results in the male delegate election, we can't take up the male alternate election because of the possibility that someone in the current race might want to run in that race. But what we can do is we can move to the election of state committee woman, there being nobody in the male delegate race who would be eligible for that position. So I will entertain nominations for the position of state committee woman representing the 46th district of the Washington State Central Committee. I take it you have a nomination, much to my surprise. The name of Sarah Jane Siegfried has been put in nomination. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Are there further nominations? Ms. Miller?
I nominate Betsy Walker.
The name of Betsy Walker has been put in nomination. Are there further, excuse me, is there a second? All right. Are there further nominations? This is like Noah's Ark. It's 2 by 2. Are there further nominations? Further nominations? All right. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close nominations.
Close.
All those in favor, please raise their credential. All those opposed, nominations are closed. Do it again in the order of nomination. Sarah Jane, I take it, is not here if I recall correctly, but her nominator and seconder have up to 2 minutes to speak on her behalf.
Thank you. Again, Chad Luckys. Sarah Jane Siegfried has been on the State Central Committee for several cycles now. She has been on the Platform Committee. She has also been a vital participant at the King County level, which she will continue to do as a leader in the Legislative Action Committee. She had the opportunity to go to Cuba before the Trump administration destroys it, so she decided to take that opportunity. I envy her significantly, but she could not be here tonight, and she asked me to nominate her and give a speech, and I do support her, so please vote for Sarah Jane. You want that?
Oh, I would love time.
Go.
Oh, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emily Simpson, and I met Sarah Jane just a few short months ago in our precinct level caucus, and she energized me, and she is why I am here. And she was just the most wonderful, progressive supporter, and who has embraced me from day one, and it's an honor to be here, and I support her wholeheartedly. And that's all I have to say, so thank you.
All right, Betsy Walker, nominations and seconds. I think we have a result in the other race, but I'm not going to take it till after the speech, so we'll hear everything.
I am very happy to put the name of Betsy Walker into nomination for this seat. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a classic old party lady. I've been around for a long time. I've seen a lot of things come and go. I've served on our board in the 46th, King County, and the state, and I know a good thing when it comes along, and that's Betsy Walker. Betsy is, she's actually not as young as she looks. But she's somebody who brings a lot of enthusiasm and hard work. She's a doer and has been doing things both with Young Democrats and the state party. Her letter of introduction is in front of all of you. And we would be very lucky to have Betsy representing us at the state party. So I offer you Betsy Walker.
My name is Betsy Walker. For the last 2 years, I have been your representative at King County, where I served as vice chair of the endorsements committee, as well as representing all of you there at the county level. I actually carried a proxy vote at the state committee before, serving on the resolutions committee for someone who couldn't attend, and I loved it. It's fascinating watching the process at that level, and I'm very excited to take the next step and run to be your state committee woman. I'm running because, particularly after this election, I think it's really important that we focus our efforts on organizing in purple and red parts of the state, which have been traditionally forgotten. And I want to be on the state committee to advocate for more resources for doing work outside of the deep blue areas in Puget Sound to really revitalize our party and to make sure that we are bringing new people into the party, so that when we say that we are talking for Latinas in Yakima or for young queer people in Clark County, that actually is true because we have brought them in and made them a part of our organization. And I'm really committed to that, so I would be honored to have your vote.
Before we start balloting, let me get the result in the King County mail room. Andrew Everett received 41 votes. Barry Smith received 20 votes. Andrew Everett is the King County male representative. All right, this time I'm going to actually look at the ballot before I announce it and avoid making a mistake. It is cue for questioning why Trump would be president. They'll get me off the podium before I run off. All right, so on ballot Q, you need to vote for either Sarah Jane Siegfried or Betsy Walker. Vote once. This is on Q, as in questioning.
Collect on the other side.
Are there any other ballots that need to be collected? All right, last call for ballots. Okay, let's move to the King County male alternate. Are there nominations for the position of alternate representative male to the King County Democrats? Shockingly, Mr. Lupke has the nomination. I'm surprised you can take time away from the keyboard to do Larry Smith's name has been placed in nomination and seconded. Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to elect by acclamation. Oh, sorry, you were right. Yeah. Let's rewind that about 30 seconds with our time machine. I'll entertain a motion to close nominations first. All right, all those in favor, all those opposed, motion carried. Now I'll entertain a motion to elect by acclamation. All those in favor, all those opposed. Larry Smith has been elected alternate, and I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see someone is watching the stations go by when the train gets moving. That's it. Okay. All right, the last, next position is State Committee Man election, and I'm going to turn the gavel back over to Haley, who's had a chance to catch her breath after her campaign run.
Thank you, David. Can you give it up for David? And before we get started with that, I'd also love to point out that we have our very own State Representative Jerry Paulette in the room. Okay, well, I will open nominations for State Committee Man. John?
Nominate John Culver.
Second. Perfect, we're good there. Do I see any other nominations? Julianne?
Nominate Javier Valdez.
Great. Do I have a second? Second. Perfect. All right, Chad and other seconder, or John, or whoever you guys are going to speak.
Everybody. In 2003, I joined this district, and for the last 10 to 12 years, I've been working as hard as I can. I built the website, and I did a whole lot of technical work, and I can tell you that John Culver is everything that I wish that I could have been back then. This man has skills beyond anything that I've seen. He helped literally get the PCO count, the new PCOs that we saw. He was a main driver of that statewide. We had 3,500 PCOs take office on December 1st, thanks to his work. He's going to bring technology to the state committee, and we're going to bring the technology committee to all of the purple and red districts.
Chad, thank you. My goodness. Good evening, Democrats. First off, it has been an honor to be your PCO coordinator. I want to thank all of the PCOs who drove amazing turnout in the general election, 86%. Give it up, everyone. Folks, I have been hard at work using technology to build a stronger and more engaged Democratic Party. In 2015, I created personalized voter education resources that taught 50,000 Washingtonians how to caucus. With the group Washington for Bernie Sanders, we drove a monstrous turnout on caucus day, winning every single district and every single county in the state. And this past spring, I ran a statewide campaign to recruit precinct committee officers, and we broke records. PCO filings increased by 75%. So, I'm asking for your vote tonight because we are going to use technology to amplify our collective organizing hustle and to push on bold action like funding public education and getting big money out of politics. We are going to create a proactive state committee to get it done. I will make you proud, 46. I ask for your support tonight. Thank you very much.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Julianne Kempf, and I usually serve as your tally chair, but Michael Maddox is doing that for this race, because this race is terribly important to us. We have two fine candidates, but in Javier Valdez, we have a gentleman who has 23 years of experience working with or serving on the state party. This year we have a lot of change and a lot of new energy, which is something we welcome, but the state committee is also going to need people who have experience. And Javier not only has experience, he likes to share his knowledge with people. He's welcoming and he's kind, and I could not recommend him more highly for state committee man.
Hi, I'm John Weber, your outgoing state committeeman after 15 years. The state committee is 176 members, and it has 4 Latinos. And Javier is one of them. He's lonely. But seriously, we do need the kind of representation if we're to execute on our strategy to take back Eastern Washington.
Thanks, John. My name is Javier Valdez. I know many of you through my work here, long time involvement here in the 46, but also leading your caucuses in 2008, 2012, and 2016. That was me who got all your sides together and worked with a great team among you here to make sure that happened and that all went as smoothly as possible. I've only got 30 seconds, but I've been on the state committee for 16 years. I represented you at King County. I represented you on the state party executive board. But why I think it's most critical for me to be back on the state committee, it's not only diversity. I know folks don't want to talk about it, but it is important. We must have a diverse state committee and a diverse executive board here in this district. But we need an artist party. I'm a big caucus fan. I love it. But it's time that our state must move to a primary over the caucus. And you must have experienced people, myself on the rules committee, which I've been on for over 10 years, to make sure that's done well, but it's got to be done right. And that's where you need experienced people who have been on the state committee, who also are able to lobby your state committee members to say, it's time, it's got to happen, we love our caucuses, but it's time, we've got to make sure it's done right, or we're going to lose again. Thank you, and ask for your vote. Javier Valdez.
Point of clarification.
Sure.
If individuals could stand behind the blue mark.
Yes, thank you for that reminder. Anybody speaking, please stand behind the blue mark. All right.
We love your noses, but.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and take our, we'll take our vote now. So you're going to write whoever you're voting for on ballot R. Hold them high. They'll come around and collect them. We have 2 candidates.
People have been saying.
Hold those ballots high, folks.
Oh, yeah.
That's just strange.
Because that's moderated, that's controlled, that's the district members, no reverse meetings, self-periscope control, and there's other things going on.
Okay, I see some ballots in the back. Is there anybody else who hasn't turned in their ballot yet? Last call. They're coming to get you. They're coming to get you in the back. Don't worry. Gotcha.
Where's your credential? I'll make you.
Oh, I got one. I got it right here. This is how
Someone
important it is. It's in here in my little sand pouch where I keep the Constitution.
That's very cute.
That's so outdated. That's so quaint and outdated. The Constitution? Have you seen it recently? Lots of red pens. Lots of red pens.
Well, I believe that we are waiting for 2 results now before we can move on.
Habeas corpus.
Oh, we got one. All right.
Okay, so in our state committee woman race, we had Sarah Jane Siegfried at 20 votes and Betsy Walker at 38 votes. Betsy Walker is our new state committee woman. And Betsy, please do encourage to come and do your paperwork. All right, well now we're just waiting on one result before we can move on.
Let's hear it for Philip.
Let's hear it for Philip. Mr. Outgoing Chair, do you want to say a few words to the body as your last address?
So I very much was not planning on speaking, but I do want to say thank you to everyone who has helped out, especially over the last 2 years, and made this, even doable for me, because I got help from so many places to be able to learn what I was doing, hopefully not screw up too much, and try to keep this going. But I'm really excited about all of the people running, all of the energy, all of the new people here, and while I'm making a clean break, I really will be back and will be involved. I just need less titles right now.
Philip has been an incredible leader for our organization. I don't know that I have ever had the pleasure of serving with such a kind and welcoming and inclusive individual who really puts his best foot forward all the time. So I don't think we can say a big enough thank you to Philip for getting us through a slightly crazy caucus season and everything else that came before and after that too. So thank you. All right, we're still killing a little time to wait for this next result. As soon as we get the next result, we will move to the portion of our meeting where all members can vote. So we will be voting on secretary, treasurer, and our members at large. So you do not have to be a PCO, you do have to be a member in good standing and had to have been credentialed when you came in. And we have a result. All right. All right, so in our race for state committee man, we had 0 abstentions. John Culver earned 18 votes, and Javier Valdez takes it with 41 votes. Yay! Javier, all right. So I think we will just roll along. If we had been ahead of time, we would have had time for a quick break. But in the interest of getting us out of here at a reasonable hour, I'm going to plug forward with our election for secretary. Again, this is a race that all members in good standing can vote in. If you are not sure that you are a member, please see the credentials desk. And can I get an updated credentials report with everybody who's able to vote in this election or in the following elections? Great, thank you, Philippa.
You don't have to be a member.
Great. So Philippa informed me that we have 35 folks who are here. Okay, great. So we have 35 folks who are here who are members but not PCOs. That brings our voting total to 97 in the remainder of the races this evening. And Philippa has an announcement.
Wait, did you get it?
Yes, good evening, everybody. I want you to take those little white ballots that you were given when you signed in, those of you who are PCOs and members, and make sure that there are 2 extra slips of paper stapled to that sheet. If you only have 1, that's because I messed up and you need to come see me and I'll get you the other one. No. All right? Thank you.
Okay. We are going to wait just a minute while everybody gets their ballots in order. Right now. Yes, John. Yeah.
I think it's important to note that none of the offices that we elected have a representative from Kenmore or Lake Forest Park. Now we're going to move to elect the board members. I think it's very important that they, when they announce they're running, to indicate if they're from Lake Forest Park, Seattle, or Kenmore. Because none of the offices we've elected people to are from those two other cities. I think that's very bad for the district. Thank you.
Great, okay. That's a great point, John. We do have 9 positions still left to elect to the board. So there's plenty of opportunity from folks from all cities to run, and it is required actually that we have representation on our board from each of the cities that are represented within our district, Seattle, Lake Forest Park, and Kenmore. So thank you for that important point. LFP and Kenmore folks, run, let's do it. All right. It looks like most folks have gotten their ballots taken care of. I see a couple of folks still getting that worked out back there, but we will just go ahead and keep moving on. So the next position that we have that we will be considering is our secretary. So as secretary, we take all of the minutes and help make sure that communications are clean and streamlined and that everybody has the information they need. And I'd like to open nominations. Do we have any nominations for secretary? Can I get everybody's attention, please? If you have side conversations, you may head right out the doors. There's lots of lobby space to have side conversations. In the meantime, we have open nominations for secretary. Do I see any nominations? Do I see any nominations? Secretary, anyone want to do it? Super fun. All right, last call for nominations for secretary. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, go ahead. Was your hand up? Yes. Great.
I'm willing to put myself forward if no one else will comment.
Great. Would you rise and state your name and which city you live in?
Please use the I service. Oh, okay, sure.
I serve as secretary for other organizations I belong to, since there seems to be a perennial shortage of individuals who are foolish enough to want to take on that sort of duty. So, being a glutton for punishment, I'm willing to if no one else is so interested. I'll gladly defer to someone else. This is your last opportunity. Sure. Mike Kasperzak, K-A-S-P-R-Z-A-K.
Great.
Just think a lot of consonants there.
Great, thank you, Mike. Last call for nominations? Okay, do I see a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Great. All in favor? Raise those up. Okay, all opposed? Great. Great, thank you, Jean. We will be voting by acclamation to elect Mike to be our new secretary. Raise them high. Opposed? Great. Welcome to the board, Mike. Thank you. Got it. Great. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to treasurer. So our treasurer is a very important job. Helps to manage our bank account, keep track of what's coming in, what's going out, and doing all of the very important reporting to the Public Disclosure Commission. So it's a big job, but it's vitally necessary for us to run as an organization. So I'll open nominations for treasurer. John Weber.
Could you ask each nominee if they have taken the state BDC course?
Sure. Yes, so John suggested that we ask anybody who is interested in this job if you've taken the public disclosure training course. They do trainings on a semi-regular basis once a month down in Olympia. They're very informative and helpful, help you get the job down. The Public Disclosure Commission themselves is very easy to work with. So if you're good with math and good with money, you can always go take it. Take that training and not take the money, take the training, and learn what to do to make sure the district functions properly. All right, we've opened nominations. Do I see any nominations? Any nominations for treasurer?
If we're thinking about incorporating.
Any nominations? Julianne?
Kelly, I'd like to move that we postpone this election until the next.
Great. Yes. So Julianne made a motion to postpone the position of treasurer until our next meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Great, let's vote by acclamation.
Wait a minute, before we do that.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Is that legal? Because we do have filings required between now and then.
Julianne?
Our current treasurer, Scott Ryman, who deserves a huge round of applause at this juncture, has agreed to help with the transition. So we will stay in compliance during this month.
Great, thank you. Good question, good answer. All right, so we are going to vote on postponing the treasurer election until the next meeting. All in favor? All opposed? Great, that carries. We will bring that up at the February meeting. Be thinking about it. If it's something that you're interested in, we would love to have you join us in that position. And now at this point, we are going to move to the members at large portion of our board. There are 7 positions available. You will see that you have a big ballot where you get to write 7 names. So how it's going to work is we're going to open nominations. We'll take as many nominees as there are. And in the interest of time, we will do 1-minute speeches for folks if necessary. If we don't have more than 7, we'll just move along with the vote. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and open nominations for at-large positions. Larry.
I nominate Sarah Hayden for
Great. And Andrew, get nominated? Great. All right, Javier.
I nominate Lori Sheldon.
Great. Yes.
I nominate Phil Castro.
Great. Kate.
I nominate Eileen Follett.
Excellent. Great. Chessie.
I nominate Audrey Bernal.
Great. Jay.
I nominate Alan Zell.
Great. Chad.
I nominate John Culver from Lake Forest Park.
Great. Jesse. Great. Chessie. Awesome. Do I have any more nominated? Todd. Anna. Andy, did you have your name? Did you have anything? No, you're good? Okay, Betsy?
I nominate Betsy Snyder.
Great. Oh, Larry, go for it.
I nominate Julianne Jeff.
Great. Where are we at here?
I think you missed one also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Alan Zelt was left off the list.
Oh, yeah, and Dad Alan and Anna.
Alan Zell lives in Canmore.
He does. That is very true. He is very proud to be from Kenmore. Love that about him.
Yes, there's some way we can be told on that resume.
Yeah, Philippa Castlever is from Lake Forest Park. Alan Zelt is from Kenmore. John Culver is from Lake Forest Park. Am I missing any of the folks that I don't know as well who are from Lake Forest Park or Kenmore?
Is there a real that we put up there?
Oh, sure. Did you get that? So, who put, I wonder if you were Kenmore, but. Great, that'll take just a moment while we're getting that added.
Sunday evening.
Well, we have more than 7, so that's fantastic. Thank you for everybody for putting your name in for this. It's very exciting to have a full board. So we'll go down the list. Everybody will get a minute. Because Sarah Jane's not here, I would be happy to take another speaker for Sarah Jane for 1 minute. And we'll just run through the whole list, and at the very end, we'll vote. So Chad, or does somebody else want to speak for Sarah Jane?
I will.
Or Larry? Great.
I'd like to nominate our past platform chairman, Sarah Jane Siegfried, who's worked for us as the state committee woman and also on King County as well. She has done legal service for us for a long time. She is deeply involved in the state committee. She's been a part of the e-board for, I think, 8 years now. And she has done heavy lifting on platform, on rules, on bylaws for this particular, to the legislative district, as well as huge amounts of work on writing the platform for the state platform and also for the county platform. She has been your representative, and she has been the person who's written in the Bernie Sanders kind of platform that we all love and desire into the 46th district platform and into the King County platform 8 years before Bernie ever ran for this job. So I want you all to give Sarah Jane another 2 years on the e-board because we desperately need her, and she does 3 times the amount of work that her duties listed in the charter actually require her to.
Great, thank you, Larry. Lori, would you like to come up and say a few words? And Philippa, if we can have you come to the front too, so we're ready for you.
Hi everybody, I'm Lori Sheldon, 21-year resident in this community from the 46th. This year's election really inspired me to get involved. I've always had some level of involvement, making phone calls for different candidates, but this year drove me to really say it is time to do something more. I signed up as a PCO this year. I helped a good friend of mine run for state auditor. He didn't win, but by gosh, he would have been great. I hope he comes back. But I really want to be an active voice. Not only do I want to be a PCO, but I want to have a voice to help the legislator. And also I want to see the Democratic Party grow. I want to see a state majority. We're going to go after the 45th. I think I bring a lot of passion, and I've had a 25+ year marketing background, so I have a lot of great ideas, and I think I can bring to the table. So hope you'll vote for me. Thank you.
All right, and so we have Philippa Katzover, and whoever would like to speak for Irene Paulette, if you could come up to the front of the room as well.
I'm speaking for Philippa. The meeting is the piece of the iceberg that's above water. What you don't see is what makes it possible to have a meeting. The person who has managed the databases, managed the reporting, done all the work so that you have the ability to know who's eligible to vote and who checks in at a caucus. That's this person who has done it all to make it possible for us to have an organization.
Thank you, Jerry. Well, I would very much like to share those duties with somebody else going forward because in addition to being a very committed member of the 46th Legislative District, I'm also a City Council member in Lake Forest Park. And I do think that's actually important that we have some elected officials on our board because it does help when we do endorsements and we understand how to communicate with and get our elected officials here to educate you all about who's on your ballot and how you want to vote. So thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Thank you, Philippa. If anybody would like to speak for Alan Zelt, come on up, you're on deck. And Katie, do you want to speak for Alan?
All of you probably know Eileen because she has been here since she was an infant. Her parents are former chair Janet Miller and our state representative Jerry Paulette. But more importantly, she is hands down one of the best organizers I've ever met in my life. Everything I know about organizing, I learned from Eileen and Haley Watkins. She is not here because she is taking a much deserved break because she was helping a number of Democratic candidates keep their state seats and win statewide in 2016. So I hope you vote for her because no one has better ideas, no one has more energy, and no one is going to work harder than Eileen. So thanks.
Yeah, Alan is out of country for a funeral, and so he asked me to, others to speak for him. He's our program chair and has taken on a tremendous amount of work planning the program, and has just done all sorts of things on the board. I think he is a very valuable member of the board and tremendous help, and would urge you to vote for him. Though I know this is a really, really difficult choice right now.
Great, thank you, Philip. Can we get Audrey and John to the front of the room? And then Jay, you'll be up next. And just a reminder, there's a piece of blue tape on the floor. Please stay behind it.
It's like school photos. Hi, my name's Audrey Bernal, and I admit I'm fairly new. This is probably my second meeting, but just being here the few times that I have, I've been inspired by the passion I see in this room. I admit I'm particularly interested in working on inclusion. I think that while it is amazing that we have so much passing, it's clear that there are some voices missing. And I'd like to really work with you to examine what are those barriers preventing, maybe working families, people of color, people who do have opinions and are very passionate about this, but maybe can't get to these meetings. What are those barriers and how can we make this more accessible? So please vote for me.
Somebody came down from the 32nd to ask myself and John about maps. We've got technology that is helping our ADA. We've got technology that is providing a way for people to watch state chair race forums from across the state. Technology is at the center of what we're going to be doing to transform our state and our country. And I don't know anybody that I want more in the 46th on the e-board than John Calder to help us with that technology.
Thank you, Chad. I'm still running. I love the 46. We've got so much work to do. It's 2017. We've all got to come together. We've got to use technology as much as we possibly can to connect people and to kind of mobilize that collective force. We got a bunch of work in front of us. I'm ready to get to work. I love you all. Thank you.
So Jay, up next with Andy and Chessie. Come on up. You're on deck.
Hello, I'm Jay Johnston. Both Ellen and I were new to the board last year. We both showed up very frequently. And I'd like to continue on in that position. Philip asked me to chair the communications committee, so if I'm elected, I will continue on with that. We need to figure out what our objectives are, and then we need to learn how to really communicate those. And so that's what I'm going to do.
Thank you, Jay. And Andy, it's your turn. Come on up. And Chessie, you're next. And then we have Julianne.
Hello. My name is Andrew Gallipo. Andy to my friends. I hope we're all friends here. Thank you. I'm here because Bernie Sanders ran a campaign, not as a candidate for president, but to create a grassroots movement of people who are willing to stand up and say, enough is enough. This country belongs to all of us, not just the billionaires. If elected, I will work to serve the people who cannot make it here, the mothers and fathers of young children who cannot afford the time to put in the effort. I will be there in your place. I will post everything available online, as much information as possible. I want to address this. The Democratic Party had a surge of energy, and Barack Obama brought a whole bunch of people into the party. The brand has been damaged. The Democratic Party name as a national organization must be addressed.
Thank you, Andy. down in favor of more inclusion of people of color and new people as part of the e-board. Thank you. Jesse, for clarification, does that mean you're withdrawing your candidacy for the board? Great. So she is withdrawing her candidacy. You can no longer vote for Jesse. Anna, do you want to come up? You are on deck, and Julia.
I'd just like to say on behalf of Julianne, she has taken over all kinds of thankless jobs, including being the previous Rules and Bylaws Chair. Now that I am, or at least I am the outgoing Rules and Bylaws Chair, she has been the Tally Committee Chair, and worst of all, she's been the treasurer of this organization, which is an incredible amount of hassle. And she has done it all with good cheer and with great efficiency. Let me give you one of our best activists.
I have a difficult time talking about myself. I'm great about talking about each other.
I will say, Julianne is the one who I would get into text conversations at 3 in the morning as we're trying to get agendas, bylaws, answer questions. She was the one who was always available at the weirdest times to help me out, drive somewhere crazy because I don't have a car, almost never said no to any of the things, and just helped me get things done. And she is one of the most helpful people I've ever seen.
I'm the utility infielder for the district.
I'd like to, I'm nominating Anna tonight because of all the hard work that she did on the Millage IPOL successful congressional campaign, which I was part of. Despite being a full-time attorney, she had plenty of time to knock on hundreds of doors, campaign all around the district, and was even chosen by Millage as a speaker at the Bernie Sanders rally at the Showbox, and she did a great job for all of us with being an excellent representative. This is the rest of my time. You.
Thank you so much, Todd. I know this has been a really discouraging year for a lot of people, and that's okay, because I have faith that we'll always be the party of hope, and that was only emphasized this year. I think at final tally, I knocked on over 3,000 doors in the last 6 months, because it's so important that we're reaching out to everybody and we're bringing people in and getting people involved. And yeah, so please vote for me. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much to all of our candidates. If you will grab the sheet of paper, I won't show you mine because I already wrote on it, but it has 7 slots on it. I do want to point out as well that we are considering adding 2 more at-large board members. That is a consideration that will happen when we discuss our bylaws here in a couple of months. So there is a possibility that we will be adding 2 more board slots. So if you don't make it tonight or you want to think about it and maybe join later, it's always a possibility. Yes, in the back.
We have to put down 7 names. We put down as many names as we want.
Yes, so you have to put down exactly 7 names. If you put down 8, it is not a valid ballot and it will not be counted. So please only put down 7 names. You do have to.
If we put down 6,
it is, if you put down 6, it is also a spoiled ballot, although I don't know why you would undervote with so many great candidates. You have to put down exactly 7 names. John? No duplications as well, thank you. Try and write as legibly as possible. Oh, wait. I know, I'm asking a lot now. So please pick your top 7, and then hold up those ballots whenever you're ready, and we'll come around to collect them.
Like, it's kind of cool to target people the ways, it really is. That lets you make a more direct pitch. But these guys in county just do a slate of people, and then they work amongst themselves who's the best at whatever role, and that's not necessarily a bad idea either. So I agree with a better system. It's certainly faster this way. Yeah. How would you feel as a voter in this situation? a lot of them did kind of mention stuff that they did. There was like tech person, there was like
like is it just up to whoever what is being bragged or what is the
Chad.
So whenever you
also known as like, you know, vice chair slate. At the county we elected a series of vice chairs, and then they figured out amongst themselves like, okay, I'll do events like more of the have to cover.
All right, are there any more ballots out there?
Ballot collectors, where are you?
That's true, actually. Okay, yeah. If you look at like being as a candidate, like I don't think what speech I would have done for an at-large, and I also actually for an at-large, to be totally honest, because we're fighting all that, and then I didn't get tagged someone that, oh, you should do events, and they'd be like, I know nothing about events. I just need to do events. Yeah, it's exciting when I'm going.
Great. Okay, last call for ballots. Does anybody else have any ballots? Any more ballots? Yeah, absolutely. So while we're waiting for results, I'm going to let a couple of folks come up and make announcements. If I can have sign-ins in the hall, please. Order! If you have side conversations, please take them out to the lobby. There was plenty of room. It's quite nice out there. And in the meantime, I will be inviting a couple of folks up to make announcements. So Anita.
Thank you. Hi, I'm a former board member and active Democrat. And if you haven't heard of this book, I am delighted by the enthusiasm and the new blood that I've seen tonight. I think it's wonderful. But I think that it's important that we know what we're dealing with. This book, Dark Money, if you haven't already read it, really gives an insight into the billionaire money that is going into ultra-conservative campaigns that have stymied and healthcare reform, and so many other issues, progressive issues. So I encourage you to check this out of the library, read it. It's very readable. It's by Jane Mayer, excellent book. So you gotta know what you're dealing with. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Anita. We're gonna keep all announcements to about a minute, so that was great. Come on up, John.
Couple things real quick. From the blue one. There are a few of the vote shirts left back in the back for any PCOs who would like one. They're free to wear to events to gather people and motivate people, and let's get more voters going and activating in the democratic process. The other thing is, those of you who would like to participate, you may have heard about the media blackout event tomorrow. This is the way it works. If you really want to hurt a narcissist, but you have to turn your televisions on or it doesn't count. Okay, if dead TVs are not part of the system, so turn on Nickelodeon, USA, whatever, one of the channels that never has news, and just leave it running all day. Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to put forth a couple of quotes. One from Nelson Mandela, where a society should be judged by the way it treats its least, not by its wealthiest. It's a paraphrase, I'm sorry I don't have the exact quote. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of the greatest Democrats of all time, has a message for us as Trump's inauguration looms. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Please keep that in mind. Don't give in to the fear-mongering. Don't curl into a ball and hide. You must face it, and we will fight together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Steve Zemke, and I want to put out a word on a bill in the legislature that is going to be worked on this year. You know, while we're dealing with national issues and the catastrophe there, we also can work on the state level. And so our own representative here, Representative Paulette, and also Senator David Frock have introduced bills in the House and Senate to create what's called a tax expenditure budget. It's to put tax exemptions into the state budget process. So they have to be voted on every 2 years. Why this is significant is we are now giving away more in tax exempt revenue than we are collecting. This is unsustainable and not fair and not workable. We have many uses that we can use for that money, including the paramount duty of the state, which is funding state education. So I urge you to support this legislation and let other people in other districts know that we want to pass this legislation. It has 34 sponsors in the House and 13 sponsors in the Senate. And the House bill we have now is House Bill 1500. So please, thank you for your support.
My name's Carolyn Aldring. I'm visiting for the 32nd, and Chad, John, and I started a project for PCO training. If I missed you, we have 2 sessions scheduled for Saturday, February 4th at the Richmond Beach Library, 1 to 4, and Sunday, February 12th at the Shoreline Library. So if I missed you and you didn't get a chance to sign up, I'll be over there by Chad and you can sign up for whichever day works for you.
Great, thank you, Caroline. Larry?
As you may have guessed, there are 2 wonderful opportunities to tell the current incoming administration what you think of them. Tomorrow at Judkins Park, come at noon and join the same people who march for the Comité for Amnesty and Social Justice are marching against Trump. From St. Mary's Cathedral basically to Westlake Park. You'll hear speakers by noon, look it up on the web and you'll see it. Same thing with Saturday, the Women's March. Please all come and join. In addition, if you are interested, if you care about rules and bylaws, I'm the current chairman of that depressing committee, and I can tell you that there will be some interest in changing the endorsement rules to make them more fair over the next 2 months. So please give me a contact, send me an email, and hopefully we can get your input too. Thank you.
Larry, that's your email address.
My email is Gabriel, all small letters, and a single underscore, Gabriel underscore Freeman, Freeman, @yahoo.com. And we will also be talking about adding the at-large positions that we will be voting on either next month or March.
Great, thank you, Larry. I'm going to take a point of privilege to just give everybody an update about what's going on at the meeting. So we are continuing to count ballots in the back there. I'm going to continue to take a couple more announcements until we get the results. Then what's going to happen is, on a formality, we are going to adjourn and then recall a meeting so that we can consider an endorsement for a Lake Forest Park school ballot measure. So that'll be on the agenda. We will do old business, new business, go to order, and then we're out of here. So that's what we're doing for the rest of the evening. Just wanted to let everybody know. Sit tight. We got a couple more things to do.
Well, then why is that up there? Oh, sorry.
I'm from the King County PCO Media Group. We live stream events like this. We record trainings. You can see our archives and additional footage at kcpcomg.com.
Washington State Progressive Caucus will be doing its reorg a week from Saturday, the 28th. And for any of you that really are interested in knowing what all is going on across the state, we have exciting plans for the next year, including having sub-caucuses in each of the congressional districts. If you haven't already asked to become a member on our moderated Facebook page, it's Washington State Progressive Caucus, and I really urge you to check it out and to join us in working for true progressive change. Thank you.
Philip is going to be passing a basket. Philip and Jay, they're going to pass the basket around. If you have some cash on you tonight, we would very much appreciate any contributions you can make. We do have to pay for this space, and we have lots of operating costs as a district. So please pitch in a couple of dollars. These donations help make sure that we have space to meet and that we have heat to heat us and all of those good things. Thank you. Barbara.
Hi. Are you aware of what this hat is for? Yes. I have available with me tonight 3 with or without golden showers. If you would like one, I'm sitting here.
Great, thank you,
My name's Jessie, and on January 30th, there's going to be a training called Lobbying While White. It's held by European Descent, which is an anti-racist organizing group that's held accountable by people of color, and I invite you to look up European Descent on Facebook if you're interested in anti-racist work. Thank you.
Awesome. So, does anybody else have anything that they would like to take a moment to announce?
Our graphic
I just want to say thank you to everybody who came up here and shared all the great events that we have coming up in our area and in our community. It sounds like folks are doing really wonderful work, so thank you for being here, and thank you for doing that work, and thank you for sharing that work with us. Jerry, I'm wondering if I can put you on the spot to do a couple-minute legislative update for us.
Thank you and congratulations, Haley. Thank you all for coming out this evening. This direction, okay. Blue on. When I walked in, I was really nervous about, raced up from Olympia after a meeting and thought that, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss all the voting. And I walk in and there's, the room is totally filled. It's so exciting to see the energy, people wanting to participate and work. People in this district did a great job working to elect Democrats all over the state. And I want to thank all of you who went to those phone banks and the doorbelling and held parties to raise money for the candidates that we needed to win in order to hold the House and in order to try to take over the Senate. We're one vote away. And what's the difference? You got a senator, the majority leader in the Senate, who said, it's none of your damn business when we'll produce a plan to fund our children's education. And we wouldn't, of course, we're all talking about this in the Democratic caucus today, watching him clip over and over again of him at a news conference telling a reporter, it's none of your damn business when we're going to produce a plan to meet our McCleary obligations. And the consensus comes down to this. It's not that he's snapping at a reporter, it's that they have total and utter disdain for the rights of our children, for the rights of everyone in the state of Washington when it comes to education and health, access to mental health care, and all the things that we care about as Democrats. And that's why he says it's none of your business when we'll produce a plan. You know, it is also reflective of what the first thing that the congressional Republicans want to do: roll back ethics and throw a blanket over transparency. So what are we facing in Olympia right now? The Democrats produced a plan to fund McCleary. And true to our principles, it starts with making the tax system more fair. And yeah, so it starts with making the tax system more fair, and it doesn't say that we're going to raise sales taxes, which are regressive. It says we're going to do what Steve Zemke was talking about. We're going to close loopholes for businesses that haven't paid taxes in decades. And in the fifth wealthiest state in the country, fifth wealthiest state when it comes to individual wealth, we're saying it's time for the wealthy to pay a little bit of the windfall they make on Wall Street profits with capital gains tax. And areas of, you know, the data economy that pay no business tax should start paying. And we need a carbon tax. And when and it's not just for the tax revenue, of course, it's for the future of the planet and our children's future that we need a carbon tax. And if we don't step up and be the beacon of light on this, the whole West Coast can be the beacon of light. We can act together on carbon, and we can set the stage for the nation. And while we're doing it, we'll prove to the rest of the nation that when you do the right thing, your economy grows, and the rest of the country will not be growing. So that's what our agenda is, and I'm very proud that the very first vote that we had in any committee was in appropriations to step up and prevent our schools from hurtling over what's called the levee cliff. Those of you who are following this, Seattle Public Schools faces a $70 million deficit in September because the state isn't fully funding education. $70 million. And the state legislature a few years ago said, we're going to pull out some of your levy authority and take it away from you starting next year, but we're not going to have a plan in place to fully fund education to replace it. So our children will be even worse off next year. And that's what the Republican majority leader said, it's none of your business when we'll have a plan to fund education. And on a party line vote, not a single Republican would vote to keep our schools at the current level of funding next year. Not a single Republican. That's why you all worked so hard to replace the Republican majority in the Senate, and we're going to win that seat in the 45th district next year. It's right next door to us. It's right next door. So plan on doing phone banks. Plan on going with me to Doorbell and with Haley and take the microphone.
Thank you, Mary. All right, we're getting close back there, I think. One other thing, yes, thank you. One other thing that I want to mention is on the back table over here on the my right-hand side of the room, there are sign-in sheets or sign-up sheets to join one of our many committees. There are lots of options to choose from. Just because you sign up tonight does not mean you're fully committed to that. You can sign up if you want more information about what each committee is and does. Feel free to do that, and we'll get you that information, and then you can make the choice. And if you don't sign up tonight, don't worry. There's still lots of opportunities to do that. If you're interested in joining a committee or doing a specific project or event, you can also send me an email at chair@46dems.org. Those will now be coming to me here in the next couple of days, I think. So send me an email and we'll get you involved. And in the interest of getting everybody out of here at a reasonable hour, we are going to adjourn this meeting right now. We're adjourned. And now the next meeting is called to order so that we can consider the endorsement on the Lake Forest Park school bond? Shoreline school bonds. Thank you. So I am going to invite John Culver up here to talk about it. And John is he's not going to make an argument for or against it at this point in time. He is just going to tell us what it's about, and then we will entertain discussion both for and against. Yes, Jean, go ahead.
How can we adjourn the meeting before the at-large candidate votes are announced?
So I hear that I can adjourn, and then we can, now that we're recalled to order, we can announce those still in the new meeting. That's fine. We just needed to officially get out of the county portion of the meeting, which we were still technically in. So just a formality. Go ahead, John.
Hi, gang. What's up? We have a Shoreline School District bond in front of us. It will be part of a special election happening in February. I think the ballots drop next week. It is part of revamping and also rebuilding several new schools. Most of them are at or above capacity as is. Shoreline is blowing up in a big way. We are getting lots of people, so we need to create room for them. I don't think I'm supposed to speak in favor of it, so I'm going to stop there, but it does coincide with getting some resolution on the clearing, so it's sort of planning ahead for what to do for our district. Thanks.
Great. If I entertain a motion in this race, in this endorsement, that then opens discussion, and I will take a minute for and a minute again. I see a bunch of hands.